This is Randall Root, and in this video I'm going to be demonstrating how to connect a ASP.NET web page to a SQL server hosted on a hosting site such as GoDaddy. In my example, I've already created a GoDaddy account, and by going to their hosting page I can access various different aspects of my hosted website. One of them is some SQL Server databases that I can create and use. To do that, I can go through and use the databases drop down here and choose SQL Server. You can already see I've made a couple of them. The one we're going to be using in this video is the ASP.NET Demo 1. To create one, I just hit the Add button, and they will ask me for a friendly name, a database name, / username, and some kind of password. It would probably be best if you kind of had these written down ahead of time. So for example, I went ahead and said I want to create a new database name called ASP1 Demo, so I would type that in here. Turns out that the database name and friendly name don't have to be the same, but the database owner and the actual name of the database on that server is one and the same. So apparently what they're doing is that you log in with the name of the database for your user account. And after that you have to make up some kind of password. So I made a silly password, let me in at 1, and I would paste that in. As you can see there, they're asking for a strong password, which would be kind of a pain, but what can you do? Now when you say OK at that point, it'll sit and spin for a little while, but it will eventually come back saying that the database was created, and it'll eventually go green saying like ASP.NET Demo 1 database has been set up. Now at that point you have a database, but you still got a few things to do. So I would click on the new database I made, and the password has already been set. We just set that. The user account has already been made. If we're going to use an ODBC connection, I would need a domain system name, I think, DNS. It's been a while since I did that. If you're using OLADB, your native client, you don't need that. The ASP schema has to do with putting tables in there for the built-in features, such as logging and themes and the other, that an ASP.NET website can use. But we're not actually doing any of that right now. What we are going to do, though, is this. We're going to go up to where it says Code Sample, and in that Code Sample button you'll see the various different options for how to connect to it. So the one I'm going to demonstrate right now is just using a standard SQL connection using ADO.NET, in other words a SQL native client, the OLADB one and ODBC one above. I would copy that, and then I'd go to a web page like this one. The code is already made because I went ahead and made it before I started the video, and paste the code in. Now they don't give you your password, so you're going to have to replace that with the password that we used, which was let me in at 1. So I'll copy that code and put it in here. You may note that it's not using Windows or authentication or trusted authentication. Instead it's using standard old SQL authentication, which seems a little tricky, but remember that the web page and password and everything else are hosted on their web server along with their database. So it's all behind their firewalls. This string will never make it out to the web browser. Now I kept the code really simple. I just take that connection string, I open the connection, I make a select statement against a table called demo. We'll have to make the demo table. And I'll select a couple columns. I assumed that there would be 2 columns in here, so I went ahead and made a data reader, and I'm looping through the contents of the table, grabbing column 0 and column 1, and printing out and closing the connection. So extremely easy code. Just going through, making a connection to the that remote database ASP demo 1, and grabbing some data out of a table called demo. So we've got that piece. Now it's time to actually go through and connect to the database and put items in. Now again, I got that from the code sample. So what I'll do is I'll go over here to Admin Tools and use that login that we set up. So ASP demo 1. And then that password. I don't trust myself, so I'll copy it. Connect. Now the user interface they use to work with the databases are pretty primitive, but still there is this thing called Query Analyzer where you can type your code in. Called table demo, so I'll type it, and I'll give it an ID, and make that ID an integer, and I'll give it a name, and make that Unicode varchar up to 50 characters, and that'll be my table. Now there's an execute button right here, so I'll hit the execute button and see if it works. Not very dramatic, but it does say it's executed successfully. So next piece of code is I'll insert some data into it. Insert into the demo table the following values. I'll put an ID of 1 and some goofy name in there, like Randall. Again, it executes successfully. Let me put another one in there too, just to prove that it's working. Brian, my brother's name. Okay, so nothing really seems to have happened, but if I do a select against the table, I should get a couple results. I do. I see my brother and my name. And so we've got something in the table now in that one ASP demo database. Okay, so the trick was to go through, create a new database by hitting the add button, give it a name, give it a password, go through and hit the button to have it create, wait for it to be created. When that was created, go ahead and grab the connection string that you'll need. And finally, in the admin tools, log in and create the table. There's also some GUI aspects of creating a table as well. Now, once that's done, what you need to do is you need to go through and make your page. So I've got select all from demo, and I'm going to go ahead and pull out column 0 and 1, hoping this is going to work. I've made a page called DB Test ASPX, and it doesn't have much going on it. It's got a single button, so when you click on the button, it should do something. Now I'm putting it in a website I already have hosted up there, so I just added the page to my existing website for my Northwest Tech site I have hosted on GoDaddy. So the next thing to do is to upload it. There's a lot of different ways you can upload it. FileZilla is a very popular way, so I would make sure that I had saved the files. Let's see. Looks like they've been saved. I don't see any stars here. And the new URL is in there, password, everything else. Cool. Then once I have it saved, I'll highlight the new pages and upload them. I should upload it to my GoDaddy account. Okay, so now they're live on that account, and it's just a matter of going over there and browsing to the website that this is associated with. So I'll go to my Northwest Tech website and access the db test.aspx. Here's my button, and Randall to Brian. So that worked. And as you can see, it's it's pretty easy to do once you kind of dig through all the little UI interfaces on these various different hosting sites. And the process will be a little bit different as far as which buttons you click to get the connection string or make the database. The interface could change, but in general, all the principles still apply no matter which hosting site you're going to be using. Hopefully this video helped you to kind of decipher the different steps that are involved with hosting a SQL Server database and ASP.NET web page and tying them together using ADO.NET. Thanks for watching.